Okay, so this is just a short article that I printed to use as an example, and you can see that I've already started my annotations up here. I'm going to annotate this paragraph for you guys right now, and then I'll post this video, and if you need a refresher later, you can definitely go back to that. So one of the things I like to do, you may notice on my paper, is that I like to use different color pens. This is a little bit more time consuming, but it helps me see the different things that are in my article. Everybody's going to have this chart. It's available on It's Learning. I did not print out enough copies for everybody to take one with you, but if you'd like to pull it up on your computer while you're annotating, you can do that, or you can definitely print one off at home or in the library. So these are the things that we're going to do for annotation. If you have a different system, as long as I have a key for what you're doing, I'm okay with that. Okay, so this key is that you're going to circle names and places. I'd also add in dates here, because dates are important. Underline main events. You can also highlight if you prefer to highlight. Put a box around unknown words. And then this is for imagery and literary devices, which you're not going to see a lot in your nonfiction articles, so this probably won't apply to this assignment. Then other things in the margin, as she talked about that on the video that we watched, margins are on the sides, top and bottom of the paper. You're going to make notes for these different things. If you have a question about something, indicate it with a question mark, and then jot the question out in the margin near where you put the question mark. The exclamation point, something that you're surprised by, and then jot what you're surprised by in the margin. A star could be something that you found interesting. Put a little note somewhere about what you found interesting about it, and then a little squiggle or a tilde for something that you find confusing, and then jot a little note about what's confusing you about that. And it's okay if in your article you come across some information that you don't completely understand. Then at the bottom of the page, this is a little bit different than Cornell Notes. It says, write one sentence or phrase that will help you remember what happened on that page. It's really just going to be a quick little blurb about what you read on that page, and the point of this is to help you when you go back to do your presentation. You don't have to reread the whole article. You can look at the little blurbs that you put at the bottom of the page and say, oh, this is where that information came from. I remember it came on this page where I wrote that blurb. So I have my annotation guide right here on my desk, which you can't see on the screen, but it's here. Can I get the kicking to stop, please? And I'm going to go ahead and annotate this article. So according to 2016 study, I'm going to circle 2016 because it's a date and it helps me know that this information is 2 years old. Titled Inclusion or Invisibility, Comprehensive Annenberg Report on Diversity in Entertainment. Only 33% of speaking roles were given to females. I think that's a main idea of this paragraph. That's an important fact. And under 30% of non-white roles involved dialogue. Okay? I think that's an important fact as well. Major film distributors like Disney, 21st Century Fox, Sony, and NBC Universal failed inclusivity evaluations. Those are not very encouraging numbers for an industry that is supposed to be embracing more diversity. So I'm going to say I'm kind of surprised that these big companies would fail these inclusivity evaluations, because I think they're big companies that should be more responsible than that. So I'm going to say, I'll just make a little note about that I'm surprised. And these are my notes, so I can abbreviate them as long as I understand what I mean. That these companies, and I'm going to fail this. Okay? So, and then worse stories continued to percolate. So I'm going to say percolate is a word I'm not completely sure of in this context. And so on my computer, I'll have the dictionary app pulled up. I actually have it here on my phone. And there's several definitions of percolate, and I'm going to try to find the one that seems most relevant in this context. And the one that I found, because it has to do with coffee for the most part, but I found a definition that says to become full of lively activity or excitement. And so I think that makes sense here. Stories continue to be full of activity and excitement, that the input feedback given by minorities on film projects is often ignored. I think we are seeing more and more articles about that topic, so I'm going to write that out here. So I'm just going to write full of lively activity and then that'll be good enough. And so, and I'll just put my little arrow, which you don't have to do the arrows, I just like to. During the filming of Adam Sandler's The Ridiculous Six, Native American actors hired for the film walked off the set, finding some of the humor in the script greatly offensive. It was reported that their concerns were not taken seriously, and Netflix also defended the decisions of the filmmakers to include the content. I'm going to say, I have a question about that, so I'm going to say, why did Netflix defend? I don't understand that, so I made a note there to myself, and I might look this up later. Do you need? Yes. Yes. Okay, I'll send them in a little bit. Okay, so accurate and improved minority representation is hard to achieve without listening to concerns voiced by professionals who are, in fact, minorities. I think, again, that's a main idea and an important fact, so I'm going to underline that. Another thing you can do, if you don't like the way this looks to underline, you can always use a highlighter, okay? And finding main ideas in articles is definitely a skill that you get better at as you do it. If you are somebody that starts to highlight things because you think they're important and then you look back at the page and everything is highlighted, that is an indication that you need to kind of hone that skill a little bit and really start to think about what is important in what you read. One trick for that would be to read a paragraph at a time and then stop, think about it, and then go back and try to find those main ideas. Okay, I'm going to stop.